What it do? It's your girl Jazzy, and today I wanted to speak on something that's been pondering in my subconscious, and it's been actually manifesting in reality at this point. Something that I feel like everyone could relate to, yet not a lot of people like to speak on it, especially from their perspective. It's something that's innate, but not necessarily embraced. What is this that I'm talking about? Just stay tuned. And I'm going to break it down on a spiritual tip, on a raw tip, as always. See y'all soon. Hopefully my nipples don't offend people, but I don't like to wear bras unless necessary. I whip it in, whip it out, but I'm home and I'm comfortable. I'm actually indoors, which is abnormal for a lot of my videos, but for today I felt like it's necessary. It's been raining a lot. I actually went out and it just didn't feel right, so I was like, let me just use what I had to my advantage and just speak what's on my mind. I can do that wherever and whenever because I'm speaking on things that's happening to me in real life. So obviously I want to keep a form of structure with it, and I do love the earth and its elements to assist me and just keep me tranquil while I'm projecting myself, but it's deeper than just that at this point. So I just want to be able to express and keep this format of it coming out on Fridays, and outside has just been a little unpredictable. So as she went outside and I drove around looking for a spot, and something said, just go to your room, just do it in your room. So for whatever reason, I'm just gonna listen to that. Today the long awaited topic is gonna be judgment. Judgment on all aspects, but judgment, the energy, what that signature is, and what I believe it is, because everyone is entitled to their opinions, and I feel like that's what judgment is. But the vibration of it and the frequency that it's on really depicts you as a person. Like, judgment can be used, for me, for example, judgment can be used to make sure that I'm in my best form of alignment. Judgment can help me stay safe. Judgment can help me predict but not assume. But for others, judgment can be solely a negative energy to try to bring someone down. It has nothing to do with factual evidence at all. Yet, to that person, that could be real. So when you think about this energy signature, it's interesting, judgment, because like I said, it could be completely opposite to what is factual. Like, I've been receiving a lot of people that judge me just because of the fact that I am unpredictable as a being. It's just in my nature. I have a lot of Aquarius energy, so it just plays out as so many different things. And to people that are used to being some form, they may judge it because it's something that's abnormal to them. But I wanted to break down how judgment can be shown in people. And why are you calling me right now? I'm gonna get back to this. Sorry, y'all. I apologize about that, but I feel like it was something for me to tend to. And it's interesting how everything plays into each other, because even that conversation was a form of judgment. How people could pre-assume things, and that alters them from even diving into the reality of it at some point. So it's just good to be open. But even with me, I use judgment from past experiences to help guide me in the right direction of what I feel is aligned to me. So if you're using judgment in a form of spiritual awakening, it looks different. That energy signature is not on a form of trying to bring anyone down or highlighting any flaws, because usually when people speak on judgment, they're speaking on things that they don't necessarily connect to, and they're pointing that out to bring a certain type of energy or a certain type of perception for someone else, whether that's factual or not. Like, for example, people judge me, like I was mentioning, and they could have so many different assumptions from my love life or from my career choice and how I choose to go about that, my education, but that has absolutely nothing to do with who I am as a person. And that's why I would say a lot of times when people linger in a fear-based energy, they are more likely to judge. And that's because they're just closed-minded. Judgment is a form of closed-mindedness, because if you are assuming, then you leave no room to what is real. And even sometimes when that thing is real and it's showing you that, your judgment can confine you and make you not see it as such. Like, if someone is good for you, but you want to judge them because of how they may dress, for example, it's a lot of rich people out here that look absolutely normal compared to people that are out here wearing big chains and extravagant outfits and going to extravagant places, and they don't have anything to call their own. Meaning, like, they don't have ownership, meaning that they don't have families or anything that's of substance to someone that would qualify as success. So success is more than just what you could obtain, but it's really what you have to offer, to me. And that's my form of judgment. But to someone else, that may be something else. So it's just really perception. But when you're in a spiritual awakening, and this is something I want to connect it to, just being spiritual and how you choose to judge things is more over for your guidance or from past experiences to make sure that you keep on a aligned tune. So with me, I'm going to judge things that I know do not work with me. Like, for example, indulging in like substances that won't be conducive to my growth or my path that I've already know is for me. When I judge those substances on a spiritual mindset, being more spiritually enlightened, not being better than anyone else, but just being more aware. That's what spiritual awakening is to me, just being more aware of circumstances. So from my perspective, I would judge that substance as something that's unaligned to me, but not judge the people that choose to indulge in that as anything less than me, because everyone is on their own path, and I'm not the person to say that this is wrong because it's aligned with me, but it's wrong for me because I know that it doesn't work for me. So judgment could be a perception, but when you allow it to confine you, that's when it's lingering in a lower frequency. And you have to be mindful about how you express yourself, especially to other people that may not be on the same wavelength as you. Does that mean that their conscious level is different? No, they may be just as smart or just as enlightened as me, but for them it plays a different role. So your judgment could be factual in their reality, but to me it's completely true. So when you're spiritually aware, which I would hope that everybody are aligned to in the future, you would notice that everyone does things regardless of if it's better or not. They do things aligned to what they feel is best for them. And when you realize that judgment holds a different type of energy, I promise I didn't expect these many distractions, but that's one thing that I can say for sure when in regards to the topic we're speaking on. When you judging or trying to pre-assume, life will always show you that you can't do that. It's just about how you react to it that matters the most. Just try to be in a place of more embracing. That doesn't mean that you have to be in agreement, but just embracing what is real rather than trying to make it what's not. Before I finish off, or before I even wrap this up, which I'm going to do for the most part, speaking on, like, looking back into the things that I spoke on, it's just pulling it all together into some. Judgment is something that I would say is not the most positive energy or signature to resonate in, because like I mentioned earlier, you cannot control things. You can't. So for you to assume things, especially assume and point out and highlight the flaws in circumstances, is just going to make you more self-conscious. One thing that I'm learning on my journey is just to see it for what it is, even if it's something that I don't necessarily understand. And as you choose to do that or move into that energy, you will realize that things, even if they don't play exactly how you expected, it's still going to be for a reason for you to learn from. And I mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to clarify. Someone else's reality can be completely real to them and factual to them, and your assumption of them can be something completely different. And to you, that may be completely real. Like, to you, your assumption is what's real because you can't perceive it from their point of view. So with me, and the way that I choose to embrace judgment is just for embedment of me, and still being able to embrace all the other perceptions and allow that person to be themselves. If I'm not willing to go and learn that person's perception, then I don't hold enough energy to try to assume what their perception would be, period. And that's what I wanted to tie together with. Being more spiritually inclined or just aware of myself made me more aligned to other people's imbalances. And it's no right or wrong. We're all imbalanced in some sort. We all highlight some energies in certain times, and other times is this, and that's an imbalance, because it's never going to be resonating aligned all the time. But you know you're aligned when you're able to, like I mentioned, embrace. And with judgment, how I look at judgment now, I look at it as just me being able to clearly see my reflections. You triggering something, you bringing up something and making me perceive it in a certain light. I'm being enlightened, or I'm being triggered for a reason that's beyond just you. You're just a mirror to me. And as I dive into why it is I feel that way and all the things that try to constrict or confine my assumptions, I allow what is my perception. Even what you see sometimes can't be real, but my perception, I hold that in the energy until anything comes and clarifies that, and I'm open to it being clarified or expressed in another light. And it's okay to be wrong sometimes, but you should always trust yourself. Like, whether you're completely wrong, if something is making you feel like conflicted from that, trust that that's for a reason also. You know what I mean? So it's just so many elements that you could play into, but overall, we're all reflections of each other, and you have to know that even if you can't see yourself in someone, that's telling you something about yourself. So don't judge a book by its cover, and don't assume that you know everything, even if you're a very spiritual or a very aware person. Just trust that things can change, and that's one thing that you know for certain. And just allow it to do so, and just be mindful that perfection is not a real thing, but you are perfect in those imbalances and in those imperfections. So remember that when you choosing to judge somebody else, that they are reflections of you, and they're going through their own journey as well. Regardless of how it may look on the outside, you just got to give thanks if you're in a place where you have more to offer than other people. And be willing to offer that to other people if you can. Never give more than you can offer, but be open to giving more than you would take, and be open to accepting things that may be in confliction of what you may believe. Because in this world, is every day, no matter how long you've been here, there's always something that you can learn. And don't judge the fact that this person may be younger, or from a different environment, or from a different upbringing, whatever the case may be. Don't feel like they can't offer you something that you can learn and grow from. And that's really just what I wanted to tap into. Spiritual people, you understand, but know that we are spiritual beings. So you just being more aware is just more beautiful, because you can take all these energy signatures and use it to your advantage, and not necessarily use it for the negative frequency of what it could be used for. And judgment hurts, man. Especially when it's not true to who that person is. It hurts people. And people don't forget that. So don't try to bring down other people's confidence levels and highlight the imperfections in yourself. Just let whatever is. And that's the best way for you to learn. That's the best way for you to grow. But everyone is going to move at their own level. And I understand that as well, man. There's just so many levels, so many elements. And I could speak about this so much and never could express there's just so much going on, man. I never could express, but I just take it for what it is and just keep on moving. That's all you can do.